Cool.
How's it going, everyone? It's Devin here with Make Anything, and today we've got another 3D pen review. Today we're looking at this pen by Dewang, or the Dewang 3D pen. I don't know if that's the name of the pen or the company, maybe both. Alright, so it comes in this nice box, and here's the pen. First thing you get. As you can see, the pen is pretty small and compact. It's about the same size as the 3Doodler Create. Alright, taking this stuff out. Comes with a little pen stand. One little spool of filament. So if you're gonna use this pen, you probably want to buy some filament right away, so you have more than just one single color to work with. So what this pen uses is a PCL filament, unlike PLA or ABS like most other pens. And this filament actually melts at a pretty low temperature, similar to the 3Doodler Start, but not quite as cold. I did test this out before, drawing on my hand, and it does get kind of hot. Definitely not as hot as the other pens, but more so than the 3Doodler Start. And we've got the power cable here, which it looks like it's a USB cable. There's no plug here, so it's just a USB, which means you either have to connect it to a computer or you have to have your own USB outlet adapter. So this pen has 3 speeds, which are changed by pressing this top button. And each speed actually changes the temperature as well to make it work best for that filament. So if you're printing at high speed, it'll get up to 100 degrees Celsius, but if you're at low speed, it'll go down to 80 degrees. So that limits the filaments you can use, but it also makes it very straightforward and simple to use, so you don't have to worry about changing the temperature yourself. So this pen has the forward feeding button and the reverse feeding button to get the filament out. If you hold forward, you can either double click it to keep it going automatically, or you can just hold it and it'll draw while you're holding it. Alright, so seems to be working. The question is, what do we make? Well, since this is a nice low temperature filament that lets you draw on electronics and that kind of stuff, I thought I would finally do a 3D drawn phone case. It's pretty much the biggest thing that you guys have been asking for, both with the 3D pen and 3D printer. So today we're gonna make the 3D pen version of a phone case. Of course, we're gonna make it for my phone. It's a Nexus 6P. Sorry, Apple people. But the concept is the same. I mean, yeah, it's drawing on a phone. Alright, so let me get my original case off. Don't need that anymore. So the folks at Dewang were nice enough to send me some extra filament, so I actually have enough to do this project. So I've got some black, some white, blue, and green. So I think I'm gonna make a little abstract nature scene. So let's go ahead and open up this blue to start out. Some people were saying to put the spool around your wrist to keep it out of the way. So I'm gonna go ahead and take their word for it and try that out. You feed the filament in the back here by the power cord and just press the feeding button. So you can hear it's pretty quiet. Definitely doesn't make that clicking beatboxing noise of the scribbler. And here comes the yellow filament that I tested out earlier. And we're gonna let that run through until it turns blue. Alright. I'm gonna start by doing some water here at the bottom. So as you can see, by going around the front and the back, it kind of holds the filament in place, even if it's not actually sticking to the phone. So that'll do. Alright, so we got the bottom of my phone protected. Well, protected. I don't know how protective this filament actually is, but it looks cool. So now I'm going to reverse out this blue filament so that we can switch out colors. Stop. Okay. There we go. Just gonna clip the end so it stays nice and neat. And now let's try out this white filament. I like the wrist technique. So it does take a while to switch out the colors. I mean, the filament has to feed all the way through this pen, you know. Yeah, this filament, it stays soft for a really long time. It's pretty pliable, so you can actually print something and then shape it with your fingers and mold it around a little bit. Interesting. So now let's do this top half. I'm basically going to do the same thing where I draw on both sides and kind of connect it so that it's holding onto the phone. First I'll outline this side. Alright, so now I've drawn all the way around the edge and it goes a little bit around the front and back, so that's going to hold this print on to the phone. I don't have to worry about it falling off anymore. Now I'm going to basically fill this whole top part with white, and that's where it really helps that you can double tap this feed button and then you don't have to hold it down the whole time you're drawing. And the high speed option is also definitely a plus when you have to fill a large surface like this. Oh. I'm a pretty patient person, but that took a long time. But check it out. Now I've got a nice, solid white background, and I'm just gonna draw some little trees on there. But first I think I'm gonna do a sun, since we've got this round fingerprint thing, and we've got some yellow filament. Yeah, let's make a sun. Alright, you know what? I was gonna put some trees in the background, but now it looks more like a little ocean scene, so I think I'll add a little sailboat. Actually, I feel like making a sea monster, so we're gonna put a kraken in here. Alright, well, by now I've used every color I have except for black, so might as well throw some little birds in there. You know, the details make the difference. Alright, there you have it. I made a pretty cool phone case, and it took maybe a couple hours, but I think it turned out really well. And this Dewang pen is pretty great for the job. It does a lot of things right. So I like that it has the filament on a spool, so I was able to fill in all of this white without having to ever change the filament or add more filament. In fact, I didn't even end up using the whole white spool to fill this up, so that's pretty good. I also like that it had multiple speeds, which helped me fill it up a little faster than with maybe the 3-doodler start, which would also be great for drawing on phones, but this one with the multiple speeds was very nice for that. The special PCL filament that this pen uses is pretty awesome. It stays soft for a really long time, so if you screw up you can kind of push things into place. But because it doesn't harden so quickly, it'll be a lot harder to draw straight up into the air and things like that. So if you're trying to actually do real 3D drawing, this pen might be a little tough for that. But if you're drawing onto things like a phone or, I don't know, whatever, it's pretty awesome. I just checked and there are actually several companies that sell PCL filament for 3D printers. So you can buy any 1.75mm PCL filament and it should work with this pen, and then you can get like a giant spool of it and it'll last you a really long time. Alright, I hope you guys enjoy that. The Dewang 3D pen is definitely great for the job, so make sure you guys check that out. I'll have a link in the description. And until next time, my name's Devin, and this has been Make Anything. Don't you forget to stay inspired. See ya.